Imagine standing on the red sands of Mars, breathing without a spacesuit, watching rivers flow under a sky tinted blue. It sounds like science fiction, yet some of the brightest minds on Earth believe that within just a few decades, this dream could begin to take shape. The question is bold, almost audacious. Could we terraform Mars by 2075? Terraforming means reshaping an entire planet's environment to make it habitable for humans. And Mars, with its frozen poles, carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere, and Earth-like day cycle, has always been our most promising candidate. But turning that barren desert into a second Earth is no small challenge. To answer this question, we must look at the science, the obstacles, and the ticking clock of time. First, let's consider what makes Mars unlivable today. Its atmosphere is 100 times thinner than Earth's, made mostly of carbon dioxide. Without oxygen and without air pressure, humans would suffocate in seconds. Mars is also cold. Its average surface temperature is -60 degrees Celsius. On top of that, the planet has no global magnetic field, meaning deadly solar radiation constantly bombards the surface. To make Mars habitable, we need to solve each of these problems, essentially turning a frozen wasteland into a living ecosystem. Scientists propose several strategies. The most famous is warming Mars by releasing greenhouse gases, melting its polar ice caps, and thickening the atmosphere. This could create rivers and lakes, perhaps even rainfall. Another approach is importing giant mirrors to reflect sunlight onto the surface. Some even suggest placing factories on Mars to pump out gases deliberately, engineering a thicker blanket of atmosphere. So, could we terraform Mars by 2075? In the grand sense, transforming the whole planet, the answer is almost certainly no. But in a practical sense, creating pockets of habitability where humans can live more freely, perhaps even without spacesuits, is within the realm of possibility. The first human child born under a Martian sky might arrive not centuries from now, but within the lifetime of today's youngest generation. Terraforming Mars is more than a scientific project. It's a mirror reflecting humanity's ambition. It asks whether we are content to remain bound to Earth, or whether we dare to reach beyond, crafting new worlds from dust and rock. By 2075, the dream may not be complete, but the foundations will likely be laid, and the red planet will no longer be just a distant frontier. It will be the beginning of humanity's second home. But here's the catch: NASA has already studied this idea, and their conclusion might surprise you. In a 2018 report, NASA scientists found that even if we released every bit of carbon dioxide trapped in Mars' soil and polar ice, it still wouldn't be enough to create a breathable atmosphere. In other words, the dream of turning all of Mars into a second Earth may be far more difficult than science fiction ever imagined. The timeline is crucial. If we started tomorrow, could these colossal projects succeed by 2075, just 50 years from now? Many researchers are skeptical. Terraforming is not just about warming the planet, it's about maintaining stability. If the atmosphere thickens but then escapes into space, something Mars is prone to, the effort could collapse. And without a magnetic field, even a rebuilt atmosphere would be vulnerable to erosion from the sun. That said, technology is advancing at a pace once thought impossible. By the 2070s, humanity may master techniques we can't even imagine today: artificial magnetic shields to protect Mars, genetically engineered plants to produce oxygen in hostile conditions, or even nanotechnology to reshape the soil. In fact, NASA's scientists are already exploring concepts like building a giant magnetic shield in orbit to help Mars retain an atmosphere. Ideas that sound like science fiction today but could be science fact tomorrow. While terraforming the entire planet may be out of reach within 50 years, building localized habitats, giant domes, cities, or partially terraformed regions might be realistic. Think of Mars in 2075 not as a green Earth twin, but as a patchwork world, some areas still barren, others carefully engineered oases of life.